Hello and welcome to Roots Tech Connect and to this talk about FreeREG, what it is and how to use it. My name is Graham Hart and I am a trustee and founder of FreeUK Genealogy. The content of this video, as well as the thoughts, views and opinion, are mine and do not necessarily reflect the view of Family Search International and Roots Tech. So what is FreeREG? FreeREG is one of the projects in the FreeUK Genealogy stable, along with FreeBMD and FreeSen. I've recorded a Roots Tech video for each of the three projects, which you can find under my name in the Roots Tech Connect catalogue. FreeUK Genealogy is a UK-based genealogy which has the aim of transcribing genealogical records and making the transcriptions freely available. FreeREG is a transcription of the parish registers of the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. Parish records start in 1538 and go on to the present day, but while we do have more recent ones, we focus on the ones in the 19th century and earlier. Up until 1837, when civil registration started and births, marriages and deaths had to be registered nationally, the parish records are the main source of vital records in the United Kingdom. In FreeREG, the majority of volunteers are the transcribers, but we also have syndicate coordinators who act as mentors to each transcriber. Transcribers will be given access to the source and transcription tools and instructions on how to transcribe. Then we have the county coordinators, who manage the list of places and churches to be found in the county and manage the source that is available for transcribing. Of course, there's a large set of other volunteers for FreeREG, all coordinated by the FreeREG executive, led by Eric Dickens. The URL for FreeREG is https://www.freereg.org.uk. Now let's have a look at the site. This is the FreeREG homepage, which also contains the main search form. As with all of the transcription projects, FreeREG is a work in progress, and it's important to understand and check what has been transcribed. You can waste a lot of time and make invalid assumptions if you search for someone and don't find them because they haven't been transcribed. Across the top, you'll see a series of menu options. If you go to the Records option, then you can find out what has or hasn't been transcribed. So let's go to the Records menu. In the Records menu, we see the database coverage. We have a list which contains the counties of the United Kingdom and Ireland. Scroll down to find the country that you're interested in, the county that you're interested in, and select it and press select to see what records we have for that county. I will choose Bedfordshire as an example. On the right hand side of this screen, you see some general information about the county, such as the county coordinator, Bev Bonning, and the number of records we have transcribed for that county. On the left-hand side, you get a list of places in the county. Find the place that you're interested in, click it, press select to find out more information about that place. I'm going to look at Ampthill. This page shows the information about the place that I selected in the previous screen, Ampthill. In this case, we are shown the churches in Ampthill, and Ampthill only has one church, St Andrew. And so we only see one row. If a place had multiple churches, then we would see a row for each one. Here we see the type of register, the number of records transcribed, and the earliest and latest date of those records. We also get the date of the last change for a place, so that you can easily see if there's been any change since you last checked. You can get more information by clicking on the place name, the church name, or the register type. Each of the pages are interlinked, so it's easy to go from one detail page to another. Let's click on the Ampthill place name first. This screen shows the information about Ampthill. On the left, it has the general information such as its location, and also the number of transcriptions, earliest and latest transcriptions, and any notes that are specific to the place. On the right-hand main section, you have a details view about how many records have been transcribed for Ampthill and what type they are. The time periods are split into 10-year periods, 10-year groups, and we can show how many baptisms, marriages and burials we have transcribed within that period. We also show you who did the transcribing. Have a look and see the time period you're interested in has been transcribed. If it has, you can get an idea of how many records there are, and you can make a decision about whether you think you're likely to find the record you're looking for. As we saw before, Ampthill only has one church, St Andrew, and we have a link from it here. So let's see what information we have at the church level. On the left-hand side of this page, again, we get more information about the church, such as its denomination, plus the number of records transcribed from this set of registers. Note that if we had more than one church in the place we're looking at, then the church figures would be different to the place totals. In this case, as we only have one church, then the numbers of records transcribed in the right-hand section are the same as we saw when we looked at Ampthill itself. Across the top, you can choose a different county, a different place, or find information about this place. That would link you to Ampthill. There's also a button for unique names. This will give you a list of all the unique names that have been transcribed for this church. So let's have a look at the entry for St Andrew in Ampthill. First of all, you get a list of all the surnames that have been transcribed. This can be very useful in identifying whether the name that you're searching exists in the county, but also you can check what spelling variants may exist. You can see in the example that Abyss has got 4 different types of spelling, with an I and with a Y, a single S, a double S and an E on the end. If I was looking for Abyss, then I know to search all of these variants. As well as surname variations, if you scroll down, you'll also see the forename variation. As with the surnames, you get an alphabetical list of the forenames that have been transcribed from this church. Hopefully that will all help with identifying what has or hasn't been transcribed. In FreeREG, we still have a lot of gaps in our transcriptions, and we're always looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in helping, then follow the volunteer link from the main page. This page explains about volunteering and how to become a transcriber. It will also show up any other volunteers that we're after, such as website developers and designers. To become a transcriber, click the Continue to Registration button. There are some words about transcribing at the top which I have scrolled past, but the main thing is this form. There are some documents that we need you to read and confirm that you have read. Then just fill in your details, fill in the form with your details, and when it comes to choosing a syndicate, you can either choose the county you're interested in, or if you want any county, choose anywhere, or if you've got any questions, click the Ask Us if you have questions. Once you've done that and you press the Register as a transcriber, then someone should contact you, either the syndicate owner or a member of the project, and which will help you to take the next steps in transcribing. Good luck with it, and thanks for helping out. The other menu options are Member, which contains a place for you to log in when you are a transcriber and will have tools and information to help you transcribe. Then we have Help and About, both of which contain information about the project and provide help in using the site. It's worth reading both sets of pages to find out more advanced information that I won't have time to talk about today. Now let's move on to what you're really here for, the search. On the FreeREG search form, you select the details of the person you're looking for, where you are looking for them, and the type of record that you are looking for. Then we have a few search options to help you narrow down or expand your search. When searching, we have to restrict the load on our systems, so you can't just search for things that would return thousands of results. The restrictions we have are a maximum of 500 records and a 100-second search. If your search takes longer than 100 seconds, then it will be stopped. Please don't stop a search you've already submitted, because the search will still be going on in the background, and any new search you perform will just queue behind that one. Be patient, make a hot drink, meditate for a while, but just wait for it to complete or to give you an error. Due to the size of the database and the load on our servers, you're unable in FreeREG to do a search with just a surname only. If you only use a surname, then you must either choose a county or choose a date range and a record type, baptism, marriage or burial. If I enter Crask as the search term on its own, then you can see that I now get an error message in red warning me that I have to choose some other options. So to do a search and see the types of results, I'm going to choose a county and a surname. I will choose Crask and I'll choose the county of Suffolk. I select Suffolk in the county list and either press enter or click the search button at the bottom of the form. Once you have performed a search, you will be shown a list of results. Each result is a person that matched your search criteria. In this list, you get the individual's name, you get the record type, the date of the event, the county, and the place. You can click the heading at the top of any of the columns to sort by that column. If you click the same heading again, then it will reverse the sort. So, for example, if I wanted to sort the results by county, I could click on the county column and I would get all my results by county. You can see from my search for Crask that I am shown the information I searched for and my results. In this case, I have 37 individuals called Crask in Suffolk that match my search criteria. I have a mix of baptisms, marriages and burials. I want to sort these by place, so I'm going to click on the place heading. Now you can see that the Crasks in Suffolk are sorted by place. Anne Crask is the only Crask we have in Bardwell, but then there are quite a few in Bury St Edmunds. So let's have a look at the baptism for Anne Crask. Click on the View button to see details about a particular entry. In the detailed result view, I can see all the fields that we have transcribed for its baptism. In some cases, you'll see more fields transcribed than in others. That is because each incumbent of the church had their own way of recording information, and some recorded far more than others. If the information has been transcribed, then it will appear on this form. You can see that we have a button to report an error. If you know there's an error in this entry, then please report it. If you click on the report an error in the data button, you will go to an easy form to fill out with your details and a description of the error. It's important to supply your details so that we can contact you if we have any questions about the error. Now let's get back to Anne's Bardwell entry. Okay, in the results, I think the fields are mainly self-explanatory. You can link from the place and the church name to the detailed information about the place and the church. This is the same information that we looked at earlier when checking what has been transcribed. And then you see the usual information about the registry entries, dates, people's forenames, parents' names, and all the usual information you would see in a baptism. And of course, if this was a marriage or a burial, you would see the same sort of information that you would expect. Across the top of the page, we have a few menu options that you can choose. Revise search and new search are fairly self-explanatory, and they will take you back to the main search place with either a clear form or with your previous criteria still present. Back to the results will take you back to your results, back to the individual results list. Next result will show you the next result in your results list. So if you want to scroll through your results, you don't have to keep going back to the list and clicking the next one. You can use the next result and the previous result, the next result and the previous result to buttons on here to navigate through your results. We don't see the previous result here because we're at the first result. So let's have a look at the next result. Now you can see that we see previous result as an option because we're in the middle of the list. We can see that the next result in our list was for William Crask's burial in Suffolk in 1742 in Brandon. The previous result will take us back to Anne. So going back to Anne Crask's record, the remaining options in the tab menu are a printable format, export as CSV, export as JSON, and generate a citation. Firstly, the export as CSV will give you a comma-separated file of the results that you can use to input into other programs, such as a spreadsheet, for further analysis. The export as JSON will also export the data, but in a format called JSON. If you don't know what JSON is, then any description I give you would be meaningless. And if you do know what JSON is, then you don't need me to explain what it's for. So I'm going to skip it. On the next two slides, we will see the results of clicking the printable format and the generate citation buttons. If we click the printable format, then we can see a description of the entry for Anne Krask written out in a nice way for pasting into a word processor program or for your genealogy notes. It contains all the fields for the entry that we were looking at. The final option is generate citation. As I'm sure you all know, it's very important to keep a record of where you found any genealogical information in your research. By clicking the generate citation, we will give you a formal citation to use in your research. We give you an option to generate the citation in a series of different formats acceptable or usable within different environments: Wikitree, Family Tree Maker, Legacy Family Tree, MLA, Chicago, Evidence Explained, and Wikipedia. Source citations are a complete subject on their own, so I will let you investigate which one suits your own needs. For now, I have generated a Wikitree citation as an example. The citation appears in the box, and you have the option to copy it to your clipboard, ready to paste into wherever you are keeping your research. Okay, we've now been through all of these options in the individual details screen, so let's go back to the individual list results screen. As you can see, we have now viewed Anne Krask's and William Krask's baptism and William Krask's burial. And so you have an indicator, the word seen, which shows you that you have already viewed these. From this screen, we have a few other menu options that we can use. The revised search and the new search are as expected. If you click on the About This query, then you'll get information about the search that you have performed. This shows you exactly what you searched for and what options you had selected for your search. It can be useful if you come back to a search listing after a break and you want to check what it was that you set as criteria. The last menu option is printable format. Like with the detail view, this will give you a text list of your search results that you can include in other applications or research programs. It includes your search criteria, the number of results you had, and then a full list of all the individuals found in the results. This can be placed into a spreadsheet, for example, and manipulated as required to help your research. We've now seen all the options from the results list, so let's go back and wind up the presentation by having a quick look at all the other parameters you can use in a search. So let's have a look at the options we have in the person section of a search. We've already seen the surname in operation, but you might have noticed that it showed me Krask and it didn't show me any variations of the name. There are two ways that we can see variations. Firstly, we can click on Name SoundX in the Options area. The Name SoundX checkbox, when this is checked, the search will return other names that are phonetically similar to Krask. It uses the SoundX system to identify similar matches. If you check this option, then it will be used for both the surname and the forenames if any have been entered. The second way to vary your search is to use an asterisk. So we could have searched for Krask star with an asterisk at the end. This would then have included variations such as Krask with an E. As this is a longer search, we ask that you also include a place as well as a county in your search. So if you include a wildcard in the middle of the name, then the search will automatically add one to the end. So if you were searching for Smith or Smythe with a Y, then you may search for SM star TH, but this will also find Smithers and Smethurst and so on. So be aware of what the expansion policy is with stars. It's important to remember that the names as written would have been what the officiating person heard. If the person giving the information had a strong non-local accent or perhaps a speech impediment, then the name could have sounded quite different. Don't get hung up on spelling. You will find variations within the same family. For the forename field, you should enter the forenames that you want to search for. It's worth noting that if you were to enter Elizabeth, then we would return any records where Elizabeth is one of the forenames, regardless of where it appears in the name. So as well as Elizabeth, it would return Elizabeth Jane and Mary Elizabeth. Finally, with the forename field, we will automatically apply any name abbreviations and Latinized names. So if you search for William, then we will return records with WM as well as records with the Latin Guillermus, for example. You can see a list of the names we convert by browsing to this page. Okay, so this page is www.freereg.org.uk/emendation rules. I'll put this at the end or in the accompanying data so that you can find it. Have a browse through this list to understand how we work with variations of forenames. The first year and the last year are exactly as you would expect when you're searching. For the county, choose all counties or a maximum of 3 counties. Use the Control key on your keyboard to choose multiple counties. If you choose a single county, then the place list box will populate with the places in that county. If you choose more than one county, then the list box won't populate. Next, you can choose one of the record types, or you can choose all 3. Finally, we have the search options. If you choose the family members, then the search will also look through family members mentioned in the record, such as parents in a baptism. If you select witnesses, then we will also search the witnesses to a marriage entry. If you choose nearby places, then the search will search the 40 nearest places to the one you've selected and return the results. This is useful if you're searching for someone and you're not exactly sure where they were. You'll have noticed the blue I button next to many of the fields. If you click on this, you'll get a brief description of the fields. As I mentioned earlier, use the Help and the About sections to find more information about searching the site in general. Thank you for watching this presentation about FreeREG. I hope that it's given you some information and some view about how the site works. Please volunteer if you have some time, but please use the site as well. We're transcribing so that genealogists can get some benefits, so we want people to use it. I have talks available about the other 2 free UK genealogy projects, FreeBMD and FreeSen. I'll be available in the chat area of RootsTech 2021, so please feel free to leave any questions or comments you have, and I'll answer them when I can. Enjoy the rest of your RootsTech Connect experience.